Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just click the go live button. Hang out with me for a little bit as I set this up. Hope you're all doing very well. It is a Monday morning here in Melbourne. The weekend goes very, very fast. So, that. One person watching. Just click good morning. Hang out with me for a little bit as I set this up. Hope you're all doing very well. It is a Monday morning here in Melbourne. The weekend goes very, very fast. Hear myself twice, echoing somewhere. One person watching. One person watching. We'll wait a couple of minutes till everyone joins. Got an interesting segment today. We're going to be covering a little bit about AI, artificial intelligence. We'll be covering a little bit about some massive consulting firms that are now hiring for Web3 and Metaverse. We'll be covering a little bit about the whole FTX thing. Still hasn't died out. There's still a little bit going on over there. Yeah, a bunch of different things. Let me quickly post this on Twitter, and then we should be good to go. Live on YouTube. Day 11. Let's go. XP, what's going on? Good morning. You are the first to say something in chat today, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. We are live. So yesterday, no, not yesterday, freaking Friday. Weekend was a blur to me. Is it blurry a little bit? Is it a little bit blurry? What's going on here? Let me know if it's a bit blurry for you guys. It's a little bit blurry for me. I don't know why that would be. Quality 360p. I hope that's clear. I don't know why there's a quality issue, unless only I can see that. But what's going on? Ultra Super Hot Fire says, keep this stuff going. Love your content. Thank you. I will do so. Prince says, yo, oh great, it's not blurry. Thank you. You know what? The other day I recorded a full YouTube segment. It was about 10 minutes long. Actually, I did two, and I think they were about 5 minutes long each. I'm trying to get back into content on YouTube, so I'm doing really blitz content, 5 minutes each. I put it out there, I uploaded it, and it was all blurry, and I didn't know why. It recorded blurry, so I need to fix that. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just that day or some quality settings. But I'm freaking out. So 36p here on Wi-Fi mobile. All right, 36p, 360p is okay. Hopefully it's a bit better on desktop if you have a larger desktop. But yeah, we'll go through some content. We'll wait a couple more minutes, guys, till people rock up a little bit. Let me see, 11 people watching. We'll wait till maybe 15 to 20. Maybe we'll wait till 15 to 20 before getting back into the bulk of things. 0x Kryptonian says, good morning, Matty and gang. Good morning. Good morning. YD, Matty, when will the beta for new Ganymede be playable for Medikey holders? Punctura Studios says, hi, Matty. Hi, Matty. YD, is it still Q1 of 2023? Q1 of 2023, how far is that? Let's say at latest, that would be about 4 to 5 months. I would say that's unlikely. I'd say that's unlikely. Unlikely because we went from a small scope of what we wanted New Ganymede to be to this absolute beast to what we think New Ganymede's gonna, what we think New Ganymede's going to be. I will check in with the team and double check. All I know is from the amount of content we're doing, there's a lot of work to be done. We've scaled the team from 5 to almost 20 now. I think there's 32 people that work at the Medikey. I think of those 32 people, there's 20 or so that work either full-time or float in between the New Ganymede project. So there's a lot more that we have that we want to build. We've double, triple the resources. We're trying to do it as quick as we can, but we want to do it really, really good. So I would imagine it would be a little bit more than that. It'll be a little bit more than that. I don't want to put a date on it. Let's double check with Michael and Billy and the whole team. What do you think of Kongs, by the way? We down bad right now. Yeah, Kongs, you know what? Like a lot of NFT projects are down pretty bad. A lot of NFT projects are down pretty bad. I do want to talk about something about NFT projects, though, about the macro economy on NFT projects. And what should we go? Let's stick to the VX Kongs, right? 0.53. Where are we? Kongs are good friends of ours, so I wish them the best. Any analysis that I do is never a dig at any project. It's just math, right? I just try and just be critical of everything. But I do want to say, you know, Kongs have been good friends of the Medikey. Build right, build fast, says 60x Kryptonian. Yes, you are right. I'll start a Street Fighter team. A street team in the States. Yes, why not? Where did you get the name New Ganymede? There is an asteroid called that on the Expanse TV show. You know what? Michael came up with that. And Michael is full of mystery and lore and stuff that I have never heard of before. So he came up with it. You would probably be right in trying to decipher what that means. For what I have been told and my 10 seconds of research, I think it means new moon or something, new galaxy, new moon or something spatial. There's always some mystery behind whatever Michael comes up with. Michael's really big. So if you guys don't know Michael, Michael's our social lead. He runs our community. He runs our Twitter. He runs the team that runs the Twitter. He's got a really big part on the New Ganymede story and lore, and is really massively into story design and lore design of games and project and games and just things, right? He digs really deep into that, and so I think that's a very big strength of his, right? So we're gonna let him do his thing in New Ganymede. It's him and a few people's baby within the Medikey team. So it's very interesting, some of the stuff they come up with. I may not understand it at first glance, but I know there's a lot of depth and value there once you start to dive in. All right, guys, you guys are chatting a lot. I would absolutely love to just go back and forth with you, but let's cover some stuff in the NFT space, in the crypto space. Maybe we'll blitz through it for 15 minutes, all right? And then I'll jump back to you. So many comments I want to respond to, but I know I need to not be distracted. I've also been looking into, and this is some side stuff that I want to let you guys know, because I learn, right? I'm always learning things. I'm always absorbing things. I'm always watching podcasts and all this sort of stuff. But on the weekend, which went by so damn quickly, it's crazy. Side of my side note, I had 10 hours sleep today, right? My kids at my in-laws' house. Let me put it up here. Let me full cam this. All right. I had 10 hours sleep today. I slept at 9 p.m. and I woke up at 7 a.m. and I'm still sleepy. I still do not feel refreshed. I think the bull run is the exhaustion from the bull run or just continuous work has still not left me. I think I need to take a whole week off and just sleep it off. Just sleep it off for a week and then maybe come back. Oh, no, not maybe come back, but come back fully refreshed. But it's just interesting to me that after even 10 hours sleep, I still feel sleepy. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of catch up on energy levels that I need to do. And many people do. I think everyone that I talk to in the crypto space, network with, parts of teams, big teams, small teams, they're all just like, Matty, we're so fucking tired. We're so tired of this growth phase and exhausted. Like, this is the thing about crypto, right? And NFTs is you have to move really, really fast. It's an interesting zone where if you do have a startup or a business, you got to work. You got to outwork. People move quick. Efficiency is needed. People, you know, you can't build an NFT project and be like, look, you know, in 6 months' time, we're going to be the first that build this platform. Because before that 6 months, there's going to be another 3 people that are working on it that already put it out there. It's not a zero-sum game in the sense of if others do it, you cannot. Everyone at this point, because it's start of an industry, there's a lot of space for anyone to join, but it's a place where you have to look at constant efficiencies, right? You have to keep cutting down your time spent on things to make it more quicker, to hit goals and milestones more quicker. Anyway, side note. So I was looking at things on the topic of focus, right? I went through this rabbit hole of ADHD. I have for a while been looking at this science of the mind on focus and ADHD, and I've never gone to the doctors to go check it out, but I've suspected a lot of people in the NFT and crypto space have some form of this, and I'm not qualified to self-diagnose or say anything about ADHD, but I was just been looking at it and looking at what the scientists say and see if there's anything out there that is relatable at any sense of all. But it's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down too, because the mind of someone who struggles to focus and is more looking at constant levels of instant gratification over long-term focus, they have to work in a different way. But anyway, I was just going through that rabbit hole, and through that came all sorts of learnings from time management to things. And again, like I'm not gonna say that I have it, because I have to go and check it out and do all sorts of stuff. But I don't struggle to focus, but the little things like going to university, and I remember back when I used to go to uni, I used to be like, how do people sit in the front of a freaking lecture and just listen to this person talking for more than 45 minutes? Like, I would zone out after 2 minutes. I struggled to be attentive at anything. Even if things were super exciting to me, only do things have to be super, super exciting to me for me to be fully paying attention. I have to be extremely passionate about it to be really into it. If it's not, then I do not do it. Like, for example, even reading a book, right? I have never till this day read a book or even half a book. I cannot read books. I can read blurbs, but I need information quick. So little things like that, looking at if there's better ways I can manage my time and manage my focus. So another thing I did was, from now on, I have a 15-minute timer. So if I'm going to do something, I put a timer on for 15 minutes and I sprint, and that deadline allows me to work a little bit more. But anyway, I don't really want to be too scientific, but some rabbit holes I go down on the weekend. The first time I really thought about, maybe let's look at ADHD and focus and certain sciences of the mind and see if there's things to better myself based on who I am as an individual. Anyway, just very, very, yeah. YD says everyone these days has ADD, right? And some people that I was listening to, and these are like neuroscientists and people that have studied this space. So I really want to quote that industry, not quote myself, because again, I don't want to say anything that gets people to take action. I'm not a scientist, but I think a lot of people have ADD or some form of ADHD, or maybe it's not called that, but it's attacking at our focal joints or our focal connections, right? The way we focus is being affected because social media wants us to have instant gratification over, let's put all distractions away and get work done. Putting all distractions away before the iPhone was invented, or smartphones was so intrusive in our lives, was so much easier. You would write a novel, you would write things, but now because we're consistently checking phones and updates and we want notifications, we want that dopamine hit, it's harder to be focused. So scientists are saying that there could be adult social media induced forms of ADD, or there could be people moving into that science, that mind, based on their daily habits because of how the world is today. Again, I don't really want to get into it too much because I feel like I'm going to say something wrong, and I don't want to say anything wrong about this topic. But YD says, I've been able to cure my ADHD through diet. Thank you, YD. David says, if you think about it, we're always on our phones, PCs, and etc. We don't have any dead space anymore in our mind where we just sit there. True. We are always feeding our mind info and overloading it. Correct. Totally correct. Abdullah Barry. Abdullah, I think it is. Hi, Maddie. Hi, everyone. How are we going? Everyone's built different. Have to find a routine that works for you. Totally correct, old man Yi. Totally correct. And the reason I went down this rabbit hole, for anyone that's joining just now, I just want to really quickly go on the side topic of me going down the rabbit hole of focus and trying to learn about ADHD and ADD, whatever you'd like to call it. It came from, I would always look at people tweeting on strategies on how to be more efficient and focus better. But I would be like, well, that doesn't really work for me because that strategy, I've tried it, it doesn't work. There's a lot of little things that I found when going down that rabbit hole of ADHD and focus that really did ring a bell. Like it really did kind of make sense to me. So for example, like two things that were very similar is when I do get excited and when I'm like, okay, cool, this is a really cool work thing that we just stumbled onto. Let's go, let's do it. I don't know why, but I immediately feel like taking a nap. I don't know why. It's like, okay, cool, this is awesome. Let's take a break. Let's go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. Let's wake up and then do it. I've felt that way. I've never really figured out why, right? But that's one thing. There's a couple of other things like not being able to be attentive for too long, or when someone tells me something, I have to keep sort of repeating it in my mind for 5 to 10 seconds till I do it. You know, usually I can't really recall things structurally. Anyway, little things like that made me go down that rabbit hole. But again, I don't want to self-diagnose. I have to go check it out. Yeah, super interesting. And there are certain techniques like timers, putting deadlines. Apparently, people with ADHD lack the concept of time. Like, for example, you know, if they've got to finish their assignment in 2 weeks, they can't really structure and put things like, okay, well, this is going to take me a day. This is going to take me 3 days. All my assignments I put in last minute. Always late to catch-ups and gatherings. I can start to work my ass off and there's 15 minutes left, but I can't when I have a long period of time about it. And one last thing I want to say is one thing I found, and this may be true for everyone, right? I think this is a true phenomenon for every single person. And there's a really good segment about this guy that made this. I think his name is Matt Mashari, and he is the coach for a lot of top CEOs, Coinbase being one of them. And this guy has some really interesting thoughts and he's read a lot of content. And one thing he cites is that you have to find your genius, right? And your genius is where you naturally feel like you want to do a certain task. And when you do that certain task, time flies by without you even knowing. All right. Not only are you good at it, but you're sort of obsessed about it. And when I really think about this, I really enjoy buying and selling, right? NFT trading, not so much, you know, buying on OpenSea and selling and flipping that way. But I really love knocking on the doors of some Discord whales and being like, hey guys, what do you have? You have 500 pieces of decentraland land. All right, great. Here's an offer for it. Negotiating back and forth, getting that deal, selling it for a profit. I don't know, maybe it's the dopamine hit or whatever it is. I really enjoy that activity. So whatever it is for you, so some athletes enjoy putting a ball in the hoop, so they become basketballers, right? Some people enjoy certain things. So your realm of genius starts to become achieved. You become a super genius in certain things because you start to really cut out everything that you're sort of not that you're not good at it, but you don't enjoy it. You're not passionate about it. I'm not passionate about admin or you know, being organized and stuff. So I'm not going to, you know, if I focus too much on admin, I'm not really going to be good at it. My emails are a mess. My DMs are a mess. They've always been a mess. It wouldn't be good to put me in a role where I'm an admin person, right? But I'm really good with networking and certain things like that. So the more little activities that you can push aside, you can really push them aside and focus on the things that you are super, super passionate about. I mean, these are to the point where when putting some things away could be to the point of you're really good at it, but you're not super, super passionate about it. You can't go 12 hours doing that task without realizing time goes by, right? Where you find your realm of genius, apparently according to Matt Mashari and some of the things that he cited, is where you find yourself being naturally obsessed about that specific task, and we can really hone down on that task and find a value output of that task. And you just, all right, well, this is my task every single day and somehow it pays me money. You're going to reach this level of genius that no one really is, right? And if you look at the best performers in the world and the best athletes in the world, of course, they've put in a lot of time. They have a lot of skill. They put in, you know, they wake up at 3 a.m. sometimes and work 12 hours at their craft every single day since they were 5 years old, right? That's why they are where they are. So anyway, some interesting thoughts. And this is the sort of stuff that I go through on the weekend. Like Naval said, specific knowledge. 0x Kryptonian says, I get ultra fixed on the passion of the moment. Video game, equity trading, NFTs. Exactly, right? Like video games for me, like I can play Warcraft and look at strategically how to get better and better at Warcraft. So I'm talking about Warcraft 3 campaign mode, right? I don't really play online that much. I just downloaded Warcraft the other day and I can just get immersed in Warcraft for 8 hours a day. I can honestly play 24 hours of Warcraft. I honestly can play 24 hours of Warcraft or any game, right? A game that I'm obsessed about. I'm sure a lot of people that you are and play Kobe RP totally. Any game that you are sort of obsessed about, I'm sure you can play for a long time. Now, imagine you reach a task that pays you income somehow, or that's your role within the business where you are so immersed in it that it's equivalent to you being as immersed in a video game, right? How good would you get at that task? Wouldn't you be a genius at that task? Wouldn't you be an asset to a company or yourself if you found that task and you just pushed aside every other task? You either outsourced it or someone else in the team put that up and you focused on that, right? So anyway, that's been me looking at, some of those things, especially with social media. So with the Medikey team and this Matt Mashari stuff I've been listening to like a month ago. That's why with the Medikey team, I was like, all right, guys, like, I'm going to focus on social media. I'm going to focus on certain things. Yeah, networking. What is Matty good at? What is Matty's own bottleneck? Sometimes I'm my own bottleneck. Sometimes I'm not really good at sending emails or being organized or structured. And sometimes when it's up to me to get certain things done, I don't get it done because I'm sometimes my own bottleneck, right? So outsourcing that to someone who's more qualified, more smarter than me at those things, and then focusing on the things I'm really good at. My God, this was a big tangent. Jeez. All right. With no further ado, let's get into some content. I'll go back to you guys after about 10 minutes of content. All right. I'm not going to look at the comments. The moment I look at comments, I'm going to start getting distracted again and want to talk to you guys. All right. So Grayscale has been a little bit under the radar now. Before I get into this, I want to say a thing about Grayscale and Barry Silbert and DCG and all of those entities and personalities and people in that team is that I myself and Medikey and my circles have had a very good relationship with Grayscale. I think the FTX collapse has forced everyone to look into some of these large businesses because FTX collapsing has a ripple effect, right? It has a ripple effect because people have stored their money in FTX. If there's leverage on the risk, others start to expose themselves to that risk. So when FTX collapses, it takes down sometimes other projects because it has so much capital that is part of that ecosystem. I believe Grayscale is and DCG and other entities fall in those category or that bucket. There's only a handful where these entities are so damn large, where if they fail, there's a massive effect to the crypto industry, sometimes irrecoverable for some time. So this came out. Mike Dudas says this is embarrassing nonsense from Grayscale. If they can't secure their on-chain assets after revealing addresses, they aren't qualified to hold institutional money. We should reject the lack of transparency. This came out because Grayscale won't share proof of their reserve, citing security concerns. So they put a thread out there. Is over here saying that due to security concerns, we don't want to show you guys our on-chain assets and wallet information and confirmation information publicly available through a cryptographic proof of reserve. Proof of reserves, I guess, shows that you are okay as an entity because it's like, all right, well, looks like they've got this much USDC, USDT, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever their holdings are X, they're safe, right? Or else you don't really know where they put their money. So they put a tweet thread on Twitter saying that they have their capital in Coinbase and all sorts of things. But I think some people were annoyed that they weren't public about showing where their assets are, right? This whole thing will blow over, and those that are or were at risk will be exposed. Those that have capital in certain places that don't really want to show, but they are safe and they know they're safe, people will stop asking once things blow over, right? It is an interesting ask for people to show, all right, well, if you do say you got $5 million, where is it? Show us your money. Where do you keep your money? Like, let us know, right? There is risk there because they hold a lot of institutional money. So I think if you see the inflows and outflows of who puts their money in and who puts their money out, then some companies might not want to invest, right? Because some companies are like, well, we don't want people to know when we're buying or when we're selling. We want to or where we're moving our money, and if I go and buy something from that. And I'm talking about Grayscale's customers. I'm not talking about Grayscale. Grayscale itself as an entity probably will keep it in some secure reserves and make sure they don't buy stupid things, right? But again, when FTX blew over and we realized that FTX was giving loans to Alameda and SBF was drawing capital from there, there's all sorts of funny things going on. People are suspicious of everything. So just a couple of comments on Grayscale and DCG. I think this whole thing will blow over quite well after some time, but I also think there are some entities that maybe mid-scale to small scale that haven't come out with how affected they were from the FTX thing. FTX, I believe, held like $10 billion or something, right? There was a lot of money that was held there. And who knows, it could be startups that had their funds there. Maybe they raised from VCs but kept the money in FTX. Maybe it's hard for founders in the NFT or crypto space to not consider earning revenue, right? It's hard for NFT founders or crypto founders to not consider earning revenue from their treasuries, because crypto and DeFi and NFTs, it's a space, crypto, DeFi, and anything in this space is an opportunity where if you have reserves, where if you have 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, $10 million, where there is potential revenue generating opportunities, right? They come with the risks, but when institutions start to provide products where you can sort of do that, you consider it. So when something like FTX blows over, and FTX was a place where other entities put their money to drive some of that revenue, and they lost it all, well, then we don't know which companies in the NFT space just don't have any money anymore, right? If you don't have money in the NFT space to continue growing your project, what does that mean, right? For example, I'll throw a name out there, Cool Cats. I don't know what's going on with Cool Cats. I'm not an investor. I don't know what's going on, but let's just pretend that, well, let's pretend with Medikey. Okay, let's use Medikey. Let's use our own stuff. We're really good with our reserves. None of our money's been affected. We have a good $4 to $5 million US that'll last us 2 years worth of 35 people a year growth, right? So, and we're sure we can raise another 10 to 15 million whenever we want with our investors, etc. So we're not fussed at all. We're not fussed at all. But let's just assume that Medikey kept our money in FTX. Now, there is a time when you can be an indie studio and build a really cool project in the NFT space and be like, yeah, cool, like I just built this game, guys, let's come and join, let's build it together. That's cool, but you would need money to pay admins and mods and designers and 3D modelers and conceptors and environmental artists and so, and HR as your team grows. You need admin, you need accountants, you need legal to set up entity, you need financial experts to give you advice, you need all these sort of things which costs money, right? It becomes out of your skill set. You cannot do it all. Your time becomes zero because you are focused on building the project, and you'll need all these supporting resources. So when you put that into perspective, there'll be many projects that just have zero resources to continue to grow the project, because what they've done is sold 10,000 JPEGs as NFTs, as generative art, generative avatars, but there's just no money to continue growth of that. And nothing's really, I mean, unless there was a really big event and your project did a big innovative release and will be remembered for the end of time, and there's really none that I can come to think of where this holds the case, maybe 2 or 3, then you may last without doing anything, but most projects will need to do a lot. And those that have money will be able to outpace those that aren't moving because they've lost their funds. So I think the FTX thing will become more apparent, and those that lost their money and lost their momentum through the FTX are still to come out. Let's move on. NFT startups are not so alluring to investors lately. This article came on November 18th. It's a bit of a graph as to VC investment funding going into NFT related companies. And you can see in Q1, it wasn't that much. It spiked in Q1 of 2022. Now it's slowly going down. I do want to say that since Q2 this year, there's been not only the crypto industry that's fallen, it's also the stock industry. It's a pullback from the momentum we've had since the last decade in the realm of tech and investing. So not too fussed. But this article says that VCs are a bit more hesitant to invest in the NFT industry, which is true. Now, venture funding or angel funding or any sort of funding, this is where you trade in most cases, it's you're trading your money. So venture funds are giving money to founders in trade of their equity. So they're buying 5% of the company, 10% of the company. They now own a share of the business. Business grows and re-raises more money as a Series A or a Series B, or sells this company one day because the venture fund or the angel investor owns 10% or 5%. They'll get paid out that once that event happens. It could be in 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, something like that, right? So that injection of capital seems to have slowed down. So I think this article is important because when you think ahead, you think about those that were successful in raising money, you know, the Yuga Labs, the OpenSea's, Animoca brands that did raise hundreds of millions of dollars, and how ahead of the pack they're going to be because they've got like $500 million to build where no one can even raise any money anymore. And then FTX platforms and other exchanges are crashing and taking away people's treasuries. So like the longer you're in crypto, the more things you learn, right? You learn that crypto moves in cycles and you have to do different activities based on those cycles. When things are hot, it's time to raise capital. It's time to have a product that's ready. It's time to have a brand that's respectable. It's time to have something that is of value. So when the bull run is here and there is more investment energy, then you can get that from VCs or angels or anyone. You can build or sell something because that capital is what you will have for when there's a bear market to build, right? It'll give you a runway that's ahead of the pack where you've got that money, you've got that network, and you can build when everyone else can't build because they don't have the money, nor they know what's going on. Their money is getting lost because they're in FTX. That's the harsh realities of crypto. So there's this cyclic timing that you sort of have to get used to based on what you're doing in the NFT crypto space. So again, the longer you are in this space, the more you realize that. Metaverse explosion. So we're going to move on. Metaverse explosion will be driven by B2B, not retail customers, KPMG partner says. So KPMG has come out and they've said that KPMG Futures said the goal is to build multi-million-dollar business opportunities for the firm through the use of metaverse technologies by 2025. I think we can publicly say that Medikey is working with KPMG on some stuff. The Australian arm of Big Four accounting firm KPMG could soon be holding executive meetings and closing multi-million-dollar deals with clients in the metaverse, with the firm now exploring how the revolutionary technology can transform its business model. I do want to say, guys, metaverse and the consulting opportunities in this space are out of this world. They're so freaking big. Metaverse alone, when you come to companies that want to build a presence in this space, that want educational webinars in this space. What the heck is Metaverse? What is Web3? Well, if you do know, we can put together an educational package, knock on the doors of KPMG or any large business and say, hey, you know what? We can charge you guys $300 per person, $1,000 per person, bring in 30 people. We can do a webinar and show you guys what it is. Break down every concept. Boom, you just earn 20, 30K. They'll vouch for you and show you to other partners if you're very good, and you can start a business there. You can start to build or design their metaverse architecture, right? You can start to manage their, like a lot of companies, they need community support. They don't know how to manage their community. They don't know once they launch a project, or if KPMG ever does become someone that assists other brands to launch in the metaverse, none of these people know how to manage Discords or communities or run events in Decentraland or the Sandbox or run a Twitter account. They don't understand the degen mindset or the Web3 mindset as to what's important. The transparency is important. Being regularly and communicative is important, right? So all of these things are important. A lot of these firms and these businesses don't understand that. So there's massive consulting opportunities in this space. But firms like KPMG, etc., are looking into this. Even land custody, even virtual land acquisition. Where do I buy my land? Is it Sandbox? Is it Decentraland? When I buy my land, where do I store that land? Do I store that land on the ledger? Can you store it for me? Can you be the custodian of that land? We'll pay you a yearly fee. Like every little concept of this metaverse thing is going to be huge. I've also been looking into AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to be massive. I actually think artificial intelligence is going to eclipse every industry, right? Software is going to eat the digital world. AI is going to eat software. That's my mindset. AI, basically the value add for businesses in AI is efficiencies. It's going to make things quicker and more automated. You're not going to need so-and-so to do admin tasks because AI can do it for you quicker, better, more automated. So I think AI, businesses are always about time saving and resource saving, right? So imagine building AI tools and development is important. They're exciting if you're a developer. But what is more financially profitable or valuable to consulting or valuable to businesses is putting together the tools that exist today that developers have made to where that may fit within a business or a company, and it will increase its efficiency by X. If you can build that bridge or that understanding in between, I'm telling you, you can sell that as a package to some of the largest businesses in the world. AI-driven business is going to be huge. The consulting services to bridge the gaps of knowledge to action in some of these new firms and new technological sectors is going to be massive. It was a really interesting thing about KPMG. I mean, the company has just created a brand new role within Australia's KPMG Futures team called Head of Metaverse Futures, which has just appointed Web3 executive Elise Su to the position, according to the recent statement sent to Cointelegraph. KPMG Australia noted that Su previously worked as a senior consultant on the KPMG Innovative team. Yeah, so it looks like they want to build a multi-million-dollar business opportunities for the firm by 2025, multi-million. Again, like Medikey is working with some of these consulting firms on these things. Very exciting for us, you know, even though it's a bear market. What the last 2 years have showed is that there is many reasons where regular businesses may want to transition a part of their strategy into this space, Metaverse, NFT, Web3, whatever you may call it. And KPMG's, the Deloitte's, the Ernst & Young's, the Capgemini's, they are all strategic consultants for many portfolio businesses of theirs, right? Nike, banks, Louis Vuitton, you know, a bunch of these soccer, FIFA, whatever these organizations are, they've always got an arm that provides strategic advice, innovative advice, keeps them ahead of the curve, sells them packages of maintaining parts of their businesses and infrastructure to them. So the metaverse being this whole space that could be a new virtual space of opportunity, it is the KPMGs that will go there and figure out what the heck is going on, and if there's any services they can provide their clients, right? So this is still going on. Like, this is why I'm telling you, behind closed doors, behind the curtains, there's still plenty of business innovation going on. Something on AI, this guy called Alex Brogan released this thread on some AI tools. I think, again, I really think AI is going to really start taking over. I'm actually dedicating a portion of my time to investigate artificial intelligence efficiencies. Where can I put these into practice? For example, here's one that says automate your manual tasks. Get data from a website, add that data to Google Sheets, and send a Slack message. Just those tasks in itself can be applicable for so many reasons, right? For example, NFT news curation. Now, me going to Twitter, Hacker Noon, Reddit, whatever it may be, Google News, to figure out what the hell is going on in the NFT space takes me 20 to 30 minutes. I'm fallible, so I will go across and get distracted. Might take me 40 minutes. But if it's all automated by an AI machine that will go out there and check out a bunch of different websites and pull out the most exciting data or NFT news pieces or Twitter content, add it to a Google Sheet and rate it by maybe what's most newsworthy. Maybe it can put it on a Google Sheet and it can say, you know what, Maddie, you can make a TikTok on here. Here's a TikTok script for it. You can make a YouTube on it. Here's some YouTube links you can open up and talk about. Here's a thumbnail that I've generated from this piece of content. Imagine that. Imagine the pulling of content on the internet, the driving into an AI machine, the output of that onto Google Sheets and whatever format a content creator may look at to create that content, and bite-sized content created content that a content creator, oh my God, I've said content so many times in that sentence, but you can look at that and be like, all right, cool. I can just wake up this morning and straight away there's content pieces for me to just start going with. I've saved 40 minutes of that curation time, right? Think about the efficiencies there. So I'm dedicating a lot of my time to figure this out. I'm almost going to make a separate DCL blogger content team for this, because I feel like we need like an R&D disruption person that goes out there and figures out what's going on and implements that. I feel like I need some content generating teams. I'm interviewing a couple of people this week for it, actually. AI powered text to voice generation. So like voiceovers that are AI. Super interesting, right? So for example, I've opened this up here and I don't know if you guys can hear this, but hopefully you can. But check this out, right? So say you feed in some text for it to be said via AI, and someone with a real voice, this is all AI, but look how real it sounds.
merging neuroscience, psychology, and mindfulness with practical takeaways for being more focused in our work and wider lives. This book will help you think about and manage your attention.
Success isn't about how much money you make. it's
At the 90-day marker, it's a good idea to check in and review the employee's performance and to gauge their feelings about their work environment.
These are all AI-driven voiceovers. Isn't that interesting? What potential does, like, imagine you could be a documentary. You could build your own documentary, right? Maybe you're a photographer or videographer. That just reminds me of, what's his name, David Attenborough or something, that guy that does the National Geographic documentaries. You could do the video footage of that. Maybe you're really good at that, and put a voiceover of Frederick from UK and have your own channel. And you could have, maybe you could feed in a voice from maybe Iron Man or Batman, or some of these famous actors for your comic, your animated comic series on YouTube, right? And suddenly you've got maybe they license out their voice. Maybe there's people that license out their voice. Jeez. That's just 2 from the 10 that I've gone through. But the more I look into AI, the more I realize that shit is gonna get real crazy in the next 5 to 10 years. Scary, very interesting. I am both excited and very freaked out with AI. I'm like, this is super cool, but how far is self-learning gonna go? Like, imagine, like, the one thing that freaks me out, right? This is a very, very, very serious possibility of this happening. Is what if someone makes a self-learning mechanism or machine that creates a military robot, right? It could be from Black Mirror. You've seen those dogs that run around and kill and shoot people, right? That is so efficient at hunting and killing human beings that it's so difficult to take down. It's built with titanium, some sort of metal that's very hard and impenetrable. It's smart. It's self-learned from environment. What freaks me out is because I used to watch Dota, they pronounce it in the US, but I used to watch a lot of Dota and games like that. And then OpenAI came out, and no one can beat OpenAI right now because the self-learning is too good. The reaction times are too good. So AI will always be better than human beings. If that happens, how the hell are we going to fight against it? Where are we going to be safe if it knows how to hunt for people? Fuck, that's scary. All right. So that freaks me out. We can go through about some NFTs on OpenSea, but to be honest, like just talking about the macro scale of things is just super exciting to me right now. Cyberkongs, we can talk a little bit about then. A lot of NFT projects have seen this sort of momentum where 3.7 ETH average price now sitting on 0.5 ETH. I do want to just say that, Cyberkong's a good friend of ours, so I'm not saying this to beat on them. I'm just saying that this is the general graph. Even MetaKey looks like this, right? But what I find important more than this is, 1, is the project building. 2, from your assessment, is what they're building still relevant? Is how the founders are thinking still forth? It will still create opportunity for these NFTs to exist, right? All sorts of things. So there's a reanalysis you have to do of these projects. One important thing that I personally like to see is how thin is the floor, okay? How many NFTs are at the floor level that will need to be bought if there is a major announcement here for it to go back in price to a certain degree? So it looks like, this is sitting at 0.5 ETH pretty much, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 62, 72, 80. About 80 sales later, it's going to double in price. Right. I like to look at how thin the floor is, and then from that to 1.7 to 2 ETH is even more of a shorter. What normally happens is there's a select part of the community that sell NFTs at a cheap price because they're freaked out. And once that part of the community moves on, there's still the long-term holders that will stick there, right? So there's always, I try and see, well, how thin is the floor for these collections that are going down? Because the floor is indicative of the lowest price, but it's not indicative of the health of the project. What is indicative is things like volume. How often are things selling? There's only one. Where I'd be freaked out if like one NFT is selling per week. There's no liquidity. But if there's like 2, 3, 5, maybe 15 some days, maybe 10 sales some days every single day, well, that's good as long as the project is still building. Right. So yes, reassess whether these projects are going the way that you think they'll have value. Reassess how the founders are thinking. Reassess their financial terms. Like, are they still in a position of having capital to build? Reassess the health of the community. Of course, there'll be new people coming in, but is there thin floors? Is there consistent volume and the economy? So I can't really say. I would say this is an average. In every project sort of looks like this, right? Every sort of project looks like this. You don't want to be buying at the peaks. You want to sort of be looking around at the strong teams and buying now, to be honest. All right. What's going on, guys? Let me chat to you guys for a little bit. 45 minutes we've done the stream for. So I'll chat to you guys for a short amount of time just to see what's going on. Have you given AR versus VR any thought? I do worry VR could become too immersive, where AR could greatly improve quality of life. I think VR is really, really cool. The problem with VR is that you are either in VR or you are in the IRL. VR, when you put on those goggles, you're sort of completely teleported into this VR industry. When your mom or your wife or your kid is running around you, you can't really see that. Maybe, sorry, not your mom's running around you. I'm talking about my kids. Say my kid is running around me. My wife's making some food, right? You can't really tell or communicate with them. You can't just be like, oh, just watch out, and you pick the kid up because she was about to hit the table, right? So you're really immersed in that. It's either one of the two. AR is interesting because AR provides overlays. Augmented reality provides overlays to the IRL experience, right? It creates digital screens that you can look at. You can teleport in people that you can talk to, but you are still looking at the physical environment around you at the same time. So it enhances the current senses and the current atmospheres and environments that we're used to. So I have thought a lot about VR and AR. I think they both have their roles. I think the mainstream will be somewhere between the two, or AR will really take off. VR starts to mess around with your senses, right? Because you are so immersed, your point of view will be very specific to whatever they want to deliver at the time. Brian says, having a blast with AI generated images. Yeah, AI is getting really fun, right? XP, well, just uploaded ourselves to New Ganymede and we'll be safe there. I know. We should all go live in some world, right? Blur has a real nice tool to see floor depth at a glance. Really? Let's go take a look. Blur.io. You know, back in the day, I would forget to go back on screen, but I'll try not to do that anymore. Really? Does it have that? Maybe. Do I have to be part of my NF? Do I have to be logged in? I'd love to see the data here. This is really trippy. Like, this is nothing like any other marketplace that I have seen. I like it. I love the retro look, right? Give me retro and I will figure and be here. If you look at my whole vibe over here is actually motivated by Stranger Things. Where the hell do I go? How do I go and check out a project? Do I have to connect my wallet? I'm lost. Where's the menu? I'm lost. Where do I go? Maybe here? Okay, maybe I have to connect my wallet. Alright, feedback to the Blur team. There should be a simple button that takes you to wherever they want you to go. Alright, well, I'll go check. Okay, yeah, you have to connect your wallet. Alright, fine, I'll connect my wallet. I hate connecting my wallet because it's always an attack vector that I open myself to. This is my junk wallet. So if you see whatever I'm doing here, don't worry. I'm not afraid at all because like I barely use this thing. All right, sign in. What's going on here? Okay, cool. The deed. Got the 15-minute volume, 15-month volume, 7-day change. No, 15-minute volume. That's interesting. 1 day, 7 day. 1 day, 7 day owners, 34,000, 34% supply, 100,000. This is interesting. Glance metrics. So let's click on other deed. Very interesting. Attributes, rarity. This is the first time I'm looking at Blur. So activity. This would be what, listings? Buy now. These are listings. What are these? What does this mean? It's a feed. This tag here, order created. Sales. So there's been a sale, and these I guess are listings, right? Order created would probably be meaning listings. The depth, there's a depth graph over here, which is super interesting. What does this tell us? This tells us the sale price at 1.1, 1.14, 1.7, 1.82. So these are the sales in the last 1 day at different price points. There's been a lot more sales at 1.15. Is that what that means? Or is it the time that's changing here? I know it's the time that's changing here. So it looks like there was a lot of sales here. If you go 7 days, there's a lot more sales here. That's interesting. But the volume, I like it. Live data is super interesting. I will need to have a really deep dive into Blur. I like more data. And there could be just one data point here that will change the game for you, right? More data. It's not so much the more data, it's specific data connections that you can make that provide more clarity, more should you buy, should you sell clarity. Click on the depth. Sorry, Mint Boar. I haven't been looking at the thing. So I clicked on the depth. I'm sorry. When I get immersed, I don't look at the chat. This looks like your average order book depth of cryptocurrency graph. This is interesting. So, all right, this is good. I like this. So here we go. So it tells you about the floor. So it looks like there's a bit of a wall here at this price. There's 20 NFTs listed between 1, 2.5 or so. There's another wall here. This is really important. I like this. I do like this. Okay, so that's a piece of data that I really like. I love that. So so if we go to, let's go to Clonex. I need to do a breakdown on this. This is super interesting. Looks like there's a bit of a wall here. So there's a wall around this here. So from 15 to 25. So there's about to 28. So there's about 8 NFTs that are listed here at this price point. So traditionally, when it comes to chart trading, or when suddenly there's a boom, there's a live feed of this. This is always going nuts, and there's a wall here. There's like a massive wall here. Let's say $2 at Mana. Then you know that this is a very hard barrier to break. That there's usually going to be a bit of resistance here because one big whale has a massive order here that he either wants to sell. Sometimes that wall could be pulled out. So putting this sort of visuals to an NFT thing is actually really interesting. Really interesting. All right. I think I need to do almost a separate thread on this. All right, guys, let's keep going on different stuff, right? I'll just chat to you guys for a couple more minutes before I leave. I have just done this for too long now, but be very quick. Hi, Matt. There's an original unused concept art from Robeck of curio cards available to mint for another 5 days, with 500 minted already, over 1,000 if you're interested. Thank you, John. I'll check that out. I didn't know that. What do you think? What is your vision for New Ganymede? What would it look like to you in the best case scenario? It would be a hub where people can go to. Well, this is the thing, right? I think a couple of things need to be enabled in this space. One, you need to be able to use your NFTs in virtual experiences. I think having an avatar is cool on Twitter, and that will happen. But I think because much of us are gamers, I'm looking at myself, pulling my beard here. Much of us are gamers. Much of us are sort of people that come from native to playing RuneScape or some of these games back in the day. I think people want to use their assets or NFTs in a virtual world, right? You compound the reasons to hold NFTs and where you can flex them. Those NFTs become more valuable. So with New Ganymede, we want to say, all right, well, what would it look like if you were to bring in decentralized wearables here? What would it look like if you were to bring in sandbox wearables here? What would it look like if you were to bring in your Clonex avatars in here and build a whole game there? So there's going to be a center social hub, but there's going to be experiences that you can portal out to that will be gamified experiences. So maybe we will partner up with, I don't know, Uniswap or something, and there'll be a quest that you can go through for Uniswap, and then maybe you'll win a Uniswap wearable or an avatar that you can use not only in New Ganymede but in Decentraland, etc. Right? So we want to push these things out. We want to add gamified reasons to exist in social spaces, because yes, you can chat and be there, but I think if you're going to do a launch or an activation, there's got to be a quest that can compound your points to redeem certain things. It's going to be our experimental hub. So where we want to implement the meta key is up to us, because in Decentraland there's some limitations. With New Ganymede, because it's our own, there is none. And it's also going to play with the Unreal Engine and Unity development stack, which I'm sure there's going to be a developer community that's going to start building some bridges for NFT people. So hopefully it's going to be one of those that will play on there. Grand vision would be that one day tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, are in New Ganymede socializing, going to different quests. We're partnering with different brands and businesses, bringing them in here, building their metaverse architecture, but also saying, hey, instead of launching in Decentraland, why don't you launch in Decentraland, the Sandbox, New Ganymede, all these places. Let's build a joint experience across all of them, and New Ganymede want to play within that. There will be things like items, there may be things like land, there may be things like your traditional way, but it is focused on gaming and interaction because we want there to be a reason to go to these places. I mean, it could be, when I say gaming and interaction, I want to say we want to experiment with stickiness. We want to experiment with, okay, you're in here, it loads really well, people around you that say hi. Maybe there's a very easy, simple UX that says, oh, cool, there's an event going on here, there's a seminar going here, there's a real-world TEDx talk going on here. Maybe you will talk to the TEDx guys and say, hey, you want to bring in we'll just port out real-world your streams in here so people can enjoy you in this space, in the digital space, along with your physical attendances. So maybe that'll be an ongoing thing, right? So what if we were to just bring in many, many ongoing virtual events to a space, and then suddenly when you port in, there's all these places you can go to. Maybe we'll be in VR one day. So it's unlimited. This New Ganymede will exist for the next 10 years, and we'll continue to build on it. Is there a how to start an NFT collection for dummies along with how to grow a community for your NFT for dummies? No, there isn't, but let me put that down. That would be an interesting course topic for Meta Academy. I'm going to put that down. The Silk Road was ahead of its time. Absolutely was. Absolutely was. When is the first drop coming for MetaKey holders in New Ganymede? I heard that maybe soon, like sometime, some New Ganymede asset drop. There will be a New Ganymede asset drop. MetaKey owners will get that asset. It is still a while. We've got a dedicated team building out something cool, or many things that are cool for people in New Ganymede. Maybe the first items, the first weapons, maybe the first mounts, maybe the first, who knows? ETH dumping right now, mint. Oh, don't say that. I need to check that out real quick. But we're pretty much at the end of this, guys. Pretty much at the end of this. I have done myself wrong and gone way past my time. But you know what? It was worth it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Looking at a quick check of ETH, down 1% for last hour, down 4% for last 24 hours. It is a little bit freaky, but we'll see what happens, eh? Thanks for joining me, guys. We're going to end it here. Tomorrow I'll be back at the same time, 8 a.m. Melbourne. I believe it's 9 p.m. UK and maybe 4 p.m. EST. I hope I got those right. We'll keep going. Let me know if you like the context of this. I do ramble on a lot about my own findings, along with going on content, along with talking to you guys. If you like me to do a little bit more of a certain thing, maybe you want me to talk a bit more about general topics, maybe you want me to go back and forth with you guys a lot more. Let me know what you guys think, right? I am always up for making this better, a better experience for all of us. Anyway, thank you so much. I will catch you guys tomorrow at the same time. Much love to all of you.